40 years of incredible accomplishments, sowing the seeds for another 40 years. Thank you, Michael Langoni, and thank you to everyone who has worked so hard to bring us to this day and this moment. I'd like to turn the program over now to our awards presenters, and this is getting to the fun and very meaningful part of why we're here, to celebrate accomplishments up to now. And Marie-Andrée Pallant will introduce an award from InfoSec.
I would like to thank you, ISPA, for allowing us to present the Diane Casoni Award. Last year, it was our first award, and it was Erika Bornman who won the award. At that time, there were scientific paper, books, biography. So this year we say it's too much. We cannot compare all of those books and products. So we have two prizes this year. One is a scientific prize, and another is we call it a popular one. So it's more like we want to present your history, your biography. So that's the category. We will have another prize next year. So if you write a book, a story, a paper, an article, this year, you can present it. You only have to go to InfoCode site, and you will have all the detail, and we will really be happy to read what you wrote. Because I think it's important to celebrate people who make the field more approachable for everyone, as researchers, students, former members, and the public at large. I also would like to thank all the people who participate to evaluate all those papers, because it takes a lot of people to help us to give this prize. So thank you very much. And I will let the video let you know who are our two winners this year. Thank you.
Hello. As the daughters of Diane Casoni, we have seen firsthand how passionate our mother was about advancing the scientific understanding of cultic phenomena. Throughout her career, she was dedicated to training the next generation of researchers and has also contributed to numerous scientific articles and books on the topic of cultic studies.
We are honored to present the 2023 Diane Casoni Award for the scientific category to Jean-Marc Barrault for his article entitled Considérations sur l'abus spirituel dans un contexte de soins palliatifs.
Congratulations!
Bonjour, je m'appelle Jean-Marc Barrault et je suis professeur à l'Institut des études religieuses de la Faculté des arts et des sciences de l'Université de Montréal. En cette année 2023, je suis lauréat du prix Diane Casoni dans le cadre de l'organisme InfoSect. J'ai voulu concentrer mon article scientifique sur le sujet de l'abus spirituel, un thème qui est récent et un thème pour lequel il m'a fallu aller chercher, notamment dans l'héritage de la professeure Diane Casoni, qui malheureusement nous a quittés, le sujet du processus d'idéalisation, qui s'arrime tout particulièrement avec la question de la spiritualité. Idéalisation du côté du sujet qui aspire à la spiritualité, idéalisation quand la spiritualité est proposée de manière décalée de la part d'une autorité, idéalisation qui peut prendre une ampleur particulière dans une communauté définie, ainsi un triptyque qui peut articuler cette idéalisation et enfermer le sujet dans une dimension mortifère. Mais pour bien comprendre ce qu'est l'abus spirituel, il m'a fallu aller chercher dans une tradition philosophique, notamment chez Emmanuel Lévinas, le processus de victimisation. Un processus qui s'applique tout particulièrement en soins palliatifs auprès de patients vulnérables qui, pour notamment des raisons de culpabilité, vont vouloir se sacrifier au nom d'un idéal. Ainsi, le processus d'idéalisation et le processus de victimisation se conjuguent pour cristalliser cette notion d'abus spirituel. Vous comprendrez que cette notion d'abus spirituel convoque l'interdisciplinarité, fait aussi réfléchir sur la notion de la parole à l'égard du sujet vulnérable, fait réfléchir aussi sur la notion d'autorité. Pensons dans certaines traditions à la notion de direction spirituelle et bien évidemment convoque la question des rituels par rapport à la conscience de la personne, du sujet vulnérable, néanmoins en quête de spiritualité. En filigrane de cette question, il y a bien entendu l'anthropologie de la conscience, l'impact sur l'inconscient, mais aussi toute cette problématique à la fois passionnante, mais en même temps délicate, qui est la notion de l'accompagnement. Comment accompagner sans provoquer un abus d'autorité, sans provoquer un abus spirituel. Je voudrais profiter de cette prise de parole pour très sincèrement avoir une pensée à l'égard de la professeure Diane Casoni, mais aussi pour remercier le comité de sélection qui m'a offert ce prix d'excellence dans le cadre de ce concours. Je souhaite à tous et chacun une très belle réflexion sur ce sujet absolument central et je souhaite aussi à chacun de pouvoir intégrer dans sa vie une spiritualité qui correspond à sa conscience.
Our mother has dedicated a large part of her career to the study of cultic phenomena. Sharing her knowledge with the public through InfoSect and in the media has always been important to her.
We are honored to present the 2023 Diane Casoni Award for the popular category to Lorraine Desrochers for her book entitled Ces enfants oubliés, grandir dans une communauté sectaire.
Congratulations!
I'm deeply honored to receive the Diane Casoni Award, since it is awarded for the book's contribution to a better understanding of cultic phenomena. 20 years ago, there was hardly anything published on the topic of children growing up in sectarian communities. It is touching to see that now there is recognition for such a book. A special mention goes to Diane Casoni for being the instigator of this award, not to mention InfoCult, who implemented it. First, I would like to thank my publisher, Les Éditions de l'Homme, who found it important to publish a book on this topic to a large public. Next, a special thank you to the 15 people who lived their childhood in those groups and who wrote letters to their parents, the government, and people who helped them after their exit, so that I could include them in the book. Finally, this book would not have been the same without the contribution of the 7 very special people I met who shared their knowledge and wisdom and answered the main question of the book: what can we learn from their experience? If you don't mind, I would like to name them: Julia McNeil, Erin Prophet, Mose Gingerich, Jean-Sébastien Lozeau, Annie Pelletier, Rita Swan, and finally, Jordan Vitches, who survived Jonestown at 12 years old. After all, because of this award, perhaps the forgotten children will not be as forgotten. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Thank you, Marie-Andre. Now I'd like to turn the program over to Bill Goldberg, our very own young dapper Bill Goldberg, and he will begin the presentation for our ICSA Awards.
The first awards to be presented tonight are the Margaret Thaler Singer Awards. These awards are given for advancing the understanding of coercive persuasion and undue influence. And the awards will be presented by Ann Stamler.
Good evening. I'm both proud and grateful to be presenting ICSA's Margaret T. Singer Award this year. Proud because it recognizes ICSA's groundbreaking workshop for those born or raised in cultic groups or relationships. And grateful because it recognizes 3 individuals who have helped lead that workshop with extraordinary courage, grace, and generosity. Patrick C.K. Rorden, Dr. Eva Mackey, and Heather Zweiback. This workshop, part of ICSA's ongoing programming for second and multi-generation former cultic group members, was started in 2006 by a group of mental health professionals who had worked with people born or raised in cults. Over time, these wise facilitators, these wise practitioners, invited workshop participants who were interested and who had shown an ability to articulate their experience usefully to others to join the facilitator team. CK, Eva, and Heather are 3 of those people. The program continued in person until 2019 and virtually until last year. Planning is underway for a program that will build on this experience and continue ICSA's commitment to support people born or raised in cultic groups. Often, people attending the workshop said that what meant most to them was being in a room with people who have shared our experience, who get it, who understand. I certainly felt that way when I walked into that first workshop. This was my family. I watched C.K. Rorden, Eva Mackey, and Heather Zweiback draw on their lives, from their most difficult moments to their proudest achievements, to educate and strengthen other people. They represent all the facilitators who, over these 18 years, have contributed their time and their wisdom to help so many people understand what happened to them, to gain confidence, and to build new and better lives. Thank you, CK, Eva, and Heather, friends and colleagues, for sharing this journey and helping pave the way for others to succeed.
I want to express my sincere gratitude to ICSA for presenting me with the Margaret Thaler Singer Award. I'm a 2nd-generation former cult member and left the cult that I was raised in at the age of 16. I spent the majority of my life feeling isolated and alone since no one, including myself, understood what had happened to me. I found ICSA about 14 years ago, and it changed my life. For the first time in my life, I had a community of people who understood where I came from and understood the abuse that I'd experienced. ICSA gave me a framework for understanding what had happened to me and a framework for how to heal from it. The most meaningful healing for me came from my work with the Connecticut workshop for second and multi-generational former cult members. I was an attendee for the first few years and gradually started doing presentations and became more involved as a facilitator. I did it because it was incredibly healing for me. I'm happy to know that it was healing for others as well. And I hope that I can continue to contribute to this unique and important organization. Thank you.
Wow, I can't believe I'm standing here today with this prestigious award. I'm so honored and humbled to receive the Margaret Thaler Singer Award from ICSA, the International Cultic Studies Association. This award is named after one of the most influential and respected researchers in the field of coercive persuasion and psychological manipulation, who dedicated her life to helping victims of cults and undue influence. I've always admired Dr. Singer's work and courage, and I've tried to follow her example in my own research and advocacy. She was a pioneer and a trailblazer who faced many challenges and controversies, but never gave up on her quest for truth and justice. She inspired many other scholars and professionals who have also received this award before me. I want to thank ICSA for this recognition and for their invaluable support and resources for cult survivors and their families. I also want to thank Lorna Goldberg and her friend Kelly McCabe for funding the first SGA workshop. Additionally, and thankfully, also ICSA for formalizing and continuing these workshops, along with the guidance and support of Lorna and Bill Goldberg, the late Carol Giambalvo, Leona Fernari, Roseanne Henry, and Ann Stamler. I also want to thank all my colleagues, mentors, friends, and loved ones who have encouraged me and helped me along the way. Most importantly, I want to thank the brave men and women who have shared their stories with me, who have trusted me with their pain and their hope, who have taught me so much about resilience and compassion. You are the reason why I do what I do. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. This award is not just for me, but for all of us who are fighting against cults and coercive control. Together, we can make a difference. Thank you.
The Lifetime Achievement Award is presented for the body of work of an individual that encompasses his or her lifetime. Presenting the award this year is Lorna Goldberg.
I am very pleased to present my friend, Dr. Donnie Whitsitt, with the 2023 Lifetime Achievement Award. Dr. Donnie Whitsitt is a Fulbright Scholar and Clinical Professor Emerita at USC Suzanne Zworek Peck School of Social Work, where she taught courses focused on neurobiology, trauma, mental health, and sexuality. As a psychotherapist, she has worked with cult-involved clients and their families for over 25 years. She is also certified as a sex therapist. Her specialties of cultic studies and sexuality often overlap due to the exploitation of human sexuality by high-demand abusive groups. Dr. Whitsitt has given enlightening national and international presentations to professional audiences in Australia, Canada, France, Poland, and Spain. Her research activities includes women's sexuality in China, sexual dysfunction in the military, and sexual issues of SGAs, MGAs. We all have gained from the fact that Donnie has published her work in numerous journals and in chapters of books. It seems that I've always known and admired Donnie. Over the years, I viewed Donnie as a knowledgeable and skilled therapist filled with empathy for her clients and a scholar who provided ICSA community with high quality, thoughtful, and useful presentations and research. Whenever I spoke with Donnie, she told me of a new seminar or course she was taking to grow as a therapist and a researcher. This lifelong commitment to learning provided our mental health community with her cutting-edge theories about trauma, neuroscience, and somatic therapy. Donnie has always been available to generously share this knowledge with former cult members, their families, and the mental health community. Donnie solidified her role as a good and valued friend when she gave me a piece of information that made the quality of my life at the ICSA conference in Madrid much more comfortable. We were staying in a student dorm, and Donnie provided me with the secret to the hot shower, to get a hot shower. You needed to press down on a lever located on a wall nearby, which I was unable to find at first. You can only imagine what a difference this knowledge made to my conference experience. This is symbolic of how Donnie has repeatedly provided me with invaluable information over the years. I believe that my work as a therapist has vastly improved from all that Donnie has told me, particularly as it related to trauma and neuroscience. Donnie's generosity with everyone she meets creates a lasting impression. Furthermore, Donnie has a wicked sense of humor, and our time together is always filled with laughter. This aspect of her personality stems from her warmth and her ability to not take herself too seriously. It is gratifying to present Dr. Donnie Whitsitt with this well-deserved award.
I'm truly honored by this award and humbled to be recognized for my contributions to this field. But no one does this work in a vacuum. I've been extremely fortunate to have had incredibly talented mentors, colleagues, and friends. Michael Langoni, Lorna and Bill Goldberg, Pat Ryan and Joe Kelly, just to name a few. And I want to thank them for their support and wisdom over the years. As with many of you, my interest in cult work and cult-involved families and people recovering from cultic abuse comes out of personal experience. And because of that, much of my cult education comes at a high price. As a psychotherapist, I feel privileged when a client who has been horribly abused, controlled, and/or manipulated trusts me enough to allow me into their world with all the pain and shame, anger, and heartache that includes. I've seen and have personally experienced in my own cult life how psychological abuse and manipulation can rob a person not only of their individual identity, but ultimately of their humanity. For former members, doing the work of recovery from cultic abuse takes courage. It isn't for the faint-hearted. It involves recognizing and grieving the many losses that cannot be recovered. But it also means recognizing the strength it took to survive and come out the other end. Helping former members to honor their history and acknowledge how their strengths can be channeled into a new life full of their own creation rather than someone else's agenda is enormously rewarding to me. Helping people learn self-compassion and self-forgiveness for all they went through is my ultimate goal. But of all the things I have accomplished in my life, the greatest of these has been the repair and restoration of the relationship with my own children. And I'd like to honor their struggles and their recovery by accepting this award on their behalf. Thank you.
Our final award for 2023 is the Herbert L. Rosedale Award. This award is given in recognition of leadership in the effort to preserve and protect individual freedom. And the award is going to be presented by Lorna Goldberg.
Do you want to come up next to me, Jilly? Wow. I am so delighted to present my friend, Jilly Jenkinson, PhD, with the 2023 Herbert L. Rosedale Award. This award is presented in recognition of leadership in the effort to preserve and protect individual freedom. I first met Jilly at the Madrid conference in 2005. I remember two beautiful women approaching Bill and me as we were leaving the Prado Museum. They turned out to be Jilly and her daughter, Hannah. Bill and I had noticed them at the conference, so we began a lively, as you can imagine I would do, a lively conversation that has continued until this day through the fun of many of our travels with Jilly and her husband, Tony. I could see right away that Jilly was someone who embraces life and is fascinated with new people and places. Her kind and enthusiastic interest in others has shown through to contribute to her success as a counselor and as a true friend. Jilly was asked to give the Paul Martin Lecture at the ICSA conference in Stockholm in 2015. Early on, under Dr. Paul Martin's leadership, Jilly served 2 internships at Wellspring Retreat Center in Ohio. This experience taught Jilly how to work with former members therapeutically. Jilly, an ex-member of a Bible-based cult in the UK, used what she learned from Wellspring to create a unique and highly successful program entitled Time Away for Post-Cult Counseling. And she has trained numerous counselors in its use. For over 25 years, Jilly, an accredited psychotherapist, international speaker, and director of Hope Valley Counseling, has specialized in the challenges faced by those who have experienced coercive, cultic, and spiritual abuse. In addition to many articles and chapters of books, Jilly also has co-authored a chapter entitled Pathological Spirituality for a medical textbook in the UK. Additionally, she is the mental health editor for ICSA Today, Jilly has continually pursued new ways of helping her clients and has often recommended different trainings, books, and articles to me. After years in the field, Jilly returned to school to gain a doctorate. Her doctoral research dissertation is entitled Freeing the Authentic Self: Phases of Recovery and Growth from an Abusive Cult Experience. This research gained from former members has been so beneficial to all those of us who are in the field. This spring, Jilly published her groundbreaking workbook, Walking Free from the Trauma of Coercive, Cultic, and Spiritual Abuse, a workbook for recovery and growth, published by Routledge Press. Her remarkable workbook, packed with information, will provide guidance to numerous people who've been abused in high-demand groups and the therapists who work with them. In contrast to other books, this workbook helps those who might be experiencing post-cult dissociation. It pulls them into the recovery journey by having them answer questions at the end of each section and to think about different aspects of their lives and put it down in the book. Thank you, Jilly, for all your contributions to the field. I am so happy to present.
Wow. Wow. I had a call from, well, I think probably an email from Bill about 2 months ago saying, would you accept an award? And I'm like, yeah, I've never had an award before. So thank you. I actually met Herbert Rosedale once. My very first ICSA conference, I call it ICSA, was in 1998, and I'd just completed a diploma in pastoral counselling, a 4-year course, and somebody on the course decided it was time for me to start investigating my history of being in a cult, which I was back in the 70s, a Bible-based group. And they gave me some money towards the trip. And I went to Chicago and I heard Margaret Singer, and the conference was called 25 Years On, What Have We Learned? Jonestown, 25 Years On, What Have We Learned? And Margaret Singer died, not long after. I'm not sure what year she died, but I felt very privileged. And I met Paul Martin there, who was the founder and director of Wellspring. And then I went to Wellspring the next year. But I met Herb Rosedale. And the thing is, it's an open conference, so you don't know who's arriving or who's going to attend. And he was a real gentleman, and he just came up beside me very quietly and gently and was sort of going, and who are you? And, are you from some cult? He didn't say that, but now I realize that he was checking me out, basically. Little did he know that I was shaking in my boots. I'd never been to an ICSA conference. I was probably triggering off all over the place, and it was all a bit, it was exciting and a little overwhelming. And that's a long time ago now. And since then, I did a master's and I did a PhD, and I asked first, second, and multi-generation, all of those
populations I've investigated, what helped you recover. And that's what I pulled together in my book. And my clinical work also is with all of those populations. So I try very hard to listen and to integrate into my thinking and practice. I recognize I'm first generation, but I hope that I've represented those voices. And some of the therapists that I've trained, that nearly all the therapists I've trained are second or multi-generation. So they've also taken on board the post-counseling model and they've moved forward with it. And now my baby is born, which is my book. And so many thanks to Tony, my husband, who was such a wonderful editor. And I loved what Donnie had to say. And on the back of what Donnie Whitsett had to say was, you know, my daughters, Hannah and Esther, who also have had to, you know, they weren't born into the cult, but they've had to deal with the after effects, and they've been wonderful, inspirational. I've had WhatsApps, you know, yeah, Mum, go for it. So thank you, Hannah and Esther. And then all my friends, really, Bill and Lorna, Gina, Katina, Steve, Hassan, thank you. And others who've, you know, been generous, cheered me on my way and wanted me to succeed. And that's very much appreciated. And I'm sure there's so much else I could say, but I'm so happy to receive this, and it'll be up on my wall. There'll be some product placement on my Zoom calls now. So thank you.
Congratulations to all of you. Jilly, congratulations. I'm going to turn the program over now. We're getting into our real closings section. And Marie Andre, I
Yes.
believe, is going to talk with us on behalf of InfoSec with some closing remarks.
I would like to thank you all in the name of InfoCult and InfoSec to have been here. I think together we learn a lot. We had emotion in some conference. It was really emotional. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for all the discussion with you, researchers, former members, people who only wanted to learn. I also learned some new things, some things that we have to do better in the next year to come. But I have hope that a new current will come and we will work together to make the field open and welcoming to everyone. Thank you very much.
At the beginning of our conference, I had 3 challenges. So I want to be sure if you met someone new, if you affirmed something that you've known, and if you really learned something new. And whatever you learned that's new, think about it in the next 24, 72 hours so it sticks. And I have to say some thank yous. I want to thank, first of all the speakers. You all brought us substance, gave us body as we came together to explore and think and grow. I want to thank our volunteers. So much work went into this conference, and particularly thanks to the people that we pulled in to moderate and drop the axe every time 30 minutes was over. Thank you so much. I want to thank the staff. Our ICSA staff have been superstars. We are so very lucky to have a strong staff working with us. And hotel staff, the hotel has been great. I have not heard complaints about the hotel. It's really been a perfect size and perfect service for us, I believe. And the AV team, Marky, wow. I don't think we ever could have truly done this without you. And thanks to you, the participants, most of all, we could be in empty rooms and we're not, and we're in person. And I want to thank everyone who's at home. We really are a big group this year, and it's really exciting to be one. I want to encourage you to keep communicating with us and each other, stay involved, and continue to make a significant difference. Help us do that together. And now I'd like to announce that our next conference in 2024 will be July 4th through 6th in Barcelona, Spain.
Estamos encantados de recibiros el año próximo en Barcelona.
Yay. So safe travels home and to Barcelona. And we have some gift bags we'd like you to have as you leave. And see you in Barcelona next year. Thank you all.